Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Tom and Harry SMMA Unfiltered. In today's video, Tom and I are just going to be having a conversation, really, just shooting the shit about our highest and lowest points in running our agency over the past 6 years. Because there has been some incredible highs and some not incredibly lows, thank God, but like there has been some really tough points, hasn't there, mate? In terms of like just us being like fucking like this is a not we're in a bad place. I'm trying to think of the best way to put it.
Under a lot of pressure and stress.
Kind of- yeah, or kind of like when you feel like you're constantly being hit with problems, like one after another, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay, let's get into it.
Yeah.
Let's get.
What would you say? I think the less spot. Do you want to, should we start positive or should we start negative?
I think we can just do an overall like the understanding people need to have is when you start a marketing company, like any business, don't be expected to not have times when you really want to quit.
Yeah.
I think that's really important to say. Like you go through bouts of I did, mate. Anyway, you go through bouts of like feeling that is you can't keep it going. So you may have like two clients and bring in say 3 grand a month, 2 grand a month.
Yeah.
But then you're thinking all the time, oh shit, what if I lose them both? Where am I then? And the other thing about it is when you have a taste of like your own business, it makes it really hard to go back to being told what to do by someone else in a corporate world and I panic. That's what sits on my shoulder in my ups and downs, my highs and lows. It doesn't sit on my shoulder as much, like really, kind of not really now, but at the beginning, mate, where I don't know, you feel like you're not good enough. You've got imposter syndrome. That when you're at the beginning stages, that's hard, isn't it?
Yeah, especially like a lot of the people that watch this video based off our analytics are like 18, well, probably a bit younger, probably like 17 to 30, I think our average age bracket is. And I know when I started, I was like eight, I think I was 18 when I started my actual agency. And it's scary. Like you get on calls with these like big business owners that come around once in a while, and you do feel a bit out of place. And you're like, "Oh, if I can do this," like you question yourself constantly. You lose a client and you think, fuck, am I a scammer, or do I have an actual good service to offer? And you just question it. You do question yourself a lot. And even now, mate, when we're making what we make with the agency, with the team we've got, we always have conversations about like, and this is us being really raw and unfiltered. It's like you and I have conversations, mate, of like, what if the worst happens? What if we lost all of our clients tomorrow? What if this happened? Like, and that's just the reality. I think every business, even like billionaires, have this problem where they think, what if I lost this tomorrow? What would I do? Like it
You
is,
also you also start to live to your means, which is something which really panics me and panics. I know it panics you, and we're not going to talk about our own personal expenses, but like it's just like when you were living off a job, not you personally, but those listening, say you're working, a respectable job, but let's say you're working even in Starbucks, which is still a really respectable job. It's one of the biggest brands in the fucking world. If you're working in Starbucks and you're making 1,700 a month, you will live and push your boundary to probably a little bit more, which is why you're then in your overdraft, and then you're always fighting against the overdraft, and you're always borrowing money and of people, and that's all that sort of stuff. But you live to your absolute means, don't you? When you start in this business and you start realizing the profit margins, you start to then spend more. And I get the fear. My lows are when I think, holy shit, because I live in two different countries. I have dependencies and I have all these things that go with it. And it's just like your lows take over you because you think, well, then if I lost the business or I lost some clients, then I'm going to lose my ability to do this.
yeah, like
And
it's not the fact you lose the client. You if you did lose the business overnight, you lose your lifestyle essentially that you've taken years to build.
yeah,
Yeah, it's not like if you lost like if we lost all our clients, you're going to be homeless. But it's more like same way a billionaire, if he lost his business, he would stop. He would have to sell his private jet. I'm not saying we have private jets, but that's like when you lose that lifestyle, don't you?
you do. I think if I was to talk about the low, like let's just pinpoint some lows, mate.
Yeah.
Trying to think what are the lows like. Yeah, we have the anxiety, we have the business anxiety every day. Those who are listening, if you're not getting that anxiety when you're running your agency, then you're not doing it right.
Yeah.
Basically, you're going to be panicky, your heart rate's going to be racing, you're going to have that moment where you're like, you win a client, you're like, fuck yeah, I'm unstoppable. Then you'll get another client who's got some fucking stinky ass piss on about a typo that's on the 4th page of a landing page, and you're like,
Yeah. I think
what?
that's, I don't think I actually have this, I'm thinking back of all like the years we've been doing it, mate, and I can't think of like a really, really bad moment where I'm like,
A
shit.
really bad moment. Let me just try and think. When was a really bad moment?
I remember there being one that we both had. I can't remember what it was about.
We lost Rose. That was like, and that she was over $2,000 a month client.
And
We
at the
lost her
time, yeah.
at the time. We lost her out of nowhere. That was kind of a mixture of a few things, like our fault in terms of there's a few contractual errors there, and there was just something going on. But when you lose a $2,000 client a month, that's out of nowhere. It wasn't even our fault. We were actually doing a really, really
Yeah.
great
And
job for her.
at the time, I don't even know what we were at. I think we were over 10K a month, but I can't remember. This was a
We
while.
were, but it was early days.
It was.
And it makes you feel shit, when you win a client out and you thought, here's the thing about that is you actually feel like you've got a good relationship. That's the worst thing. If I had no relationship or you had no relationship with this person and you felt every time you got on a call, you talked about your families, you did all the shoot the shit of all the nice stuff. And she keeps telling you what a wonderful person you are and how grateful she is to work with you. Next day, she's disappeared and says, I'm not doing it
Yeah.
anymore.
I think that's what my low points are, mate. Like when I have a low point, it's when, 'cause like we always talk about like being a business owner, you have every day is a problem that you have to solve. Like you don't really get to enjoy the wins. Like, mate, we signed 4 clients in the past 10 days and we've not sat down to celebrate it once. We just act like it didn't even happen. But when there's 4 problems in a week, it takes way more out of you. And I think that's what it is. Like it's when we work so hard, mate. We'll be working from 7 a.m. till midnight every night for like 2 weeks in a row, and we'll just get hit with like moan, 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 issue. And it's like, why are we
Another,
working this hard?
what's another low point? What's another low point that you can remember or that you've had recently with us?
Um, can you think of one? But
Everyone outside of this, guys, we live a life too. So we've all got our own problems in life. Like we've all got people who might be sick in our family, or we might be not. Some people have health problems and suffer with depression, anxiety, and someone's dog. One of our team's dog got really badly injured, and that was seriously stressful. So this is outside of like your business, so you've got the highs and lows in your business, but you've also got it in your life too, which we fully understand and appreciate. But what you like, I'm trying to think of another one that you might pinpoint as a low.
yeah,
And losing any client is shit. Like, I'm not being funny.
yeah, it is, especially when it's like unjustified. Especially when it's
Yeah, I think people would be listening to this saying, well, why do you lose
I've
them then?
got I've got quite a low one, mate. Remember the client, we spoke about this person quite often on this channel, where we had the in-person meeting in London. One
Oh
of the
yeah,
first, like that.
that's different. That was tell people what happened.
So I had this client. This was like in the process of Tom and I joining our agencies together. I had this
Mm.
client who it was a clinic, and the owner had like her personal assistant kind of managing the project. She was like our point of call, and it was her idea to work with us. So she pitched the owner us because she followed me on Instagram for a while, and it was like an inbound lead kind of. And we got the campaigns up and running, and essentially what happened was that this she was quite a young girl. She'd panicked because the leads hadn't come in right away, and emailed me on behalf of the owner and said, "I want a refund." And then we sent an email back explaining, that we're in a contract and this, that, and the other. The owner was then like, "Harry, what is going on here?" And we were like, so this was about 3 years ago. I've forgotten like the ins and outs of it, but essentially we were like, like, I don't really know, mate. Can you remember what happened? It was something like that. She asked for a refund on the owner's behalf, but didn't actually want a refund. Then we had to go into the clinic to smooth this over because we were in London anyway. So we went in to see them, and it was like the manager was sat in the corner like a told off schoolgirl, not speaking. You and me were just like rocked up, being like, "What the fuck is going on here?" It was a bizarre, really bizarre moment, but
What isn't like a refund, and
it was bizarre. It was really
they
weird.
were questioning the quality of everything, and actually it wasn't really us, it was the fact that they weren't following up the leads properly. Yeah, there was a whole thing. It was really, really prime example of like the business owner wasn't really that involved in what we were doing, and she was getting
Yeah.
second information of someone else who wasn't giving the right fucking relaying the right information to them. It was just messy, but it was, you're dealing here. Actually, I remember what it was now, mate. It was actually the owner. You had the business owner, but everything responsible for his business was daddy. Okay, so
Yeah.
the dad, the Mac daddy of the business, didn't even live in the UK. I think he lived abroad. All right, but he was bankrolling his daughter's business. So it is his daughter's business. He was throwing money into it. She comes along with this plan of marketing, and he goes, "Yeah, okay, but I want to see this, 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 and this." He wanted to see a return on like the first fucking week. The
But
first week
he wouldn't get on a call with us, would he?
you
We
get on a
said,
call to explain the project and actually build a relationship with them and get them to understand the patience levels that are involved.
yeah.
And she was getting a load of shit. She was then saying to her staff member, "Oh, Tom and Harry aren't, I don't think they're doing the right job for us. We need to get out of it. Can we have a refund?" Then when we approached her and said, "Why do you want a refund?" She's like, "No, I don't want a refund. I'm not going anywhere." The whole thing
It's a
was
mess.
4 people involved who didn't know their ass from their elbow, but actually had a really, really good brand when I look at it now.
Yeah.
But that was, we went to this meeting, and me and Harry then, now obviously I'm a lot older than Harry, so I've been in meetings where I've been fucking hammered on.
Yeah. Bearing in mind,
Yeah,
this was like this was when I was like 19.
absolutely.
Now 25, so it was a long time. So I was like a little boy, basically, walking into this meeting.
Absolutely. It's just down to experience. And I was sort of late 30s, well, mid to late 30s. And I've been in meetings where people said, "Why are you putting your price up 4%?" Well, I have to. Have to? Have to? That's not a very good answer. And I've had all this shit in my life, where you just got to deal with fucking people. So yeah, so it was an interesting one. And I think we dealt with it actually really, really well. But it
Yeah.
was a great learning experience for us. But yeah, low moment because we came away from it going, "What the fuck happened there?"
Yeah.
Um,
I think the benefit of these, we speak, huh?
so we didn't dwell on it.
No, I think the benefit of like, I think these are only problems when you don't have a strong pipeline. Like we always talk about, like the benefit, guys, of having things in place in your business where no matter what's going to happen, you're going to sign three new clients a month with your sales systems, just based on your averages, based on the numbers, you're going to sign 3 clients a month. So when you do come across a problem, this sounds really horrible, but but it doesn't go against everything we say. Like you have to treat every client as if they're a family member and really look after them. However, if a client is being unjustifiably either rude, difficult, causing you so many fucking problems, the benefit of having a strong pipeline in your business, you can turn around to people and be like, right, you either stop it or we part ways. Whereas in the beginning, when you've got 4 clients, you're making 6 grand a month, losing a £1,500 a month client is fucking heartbreaking. It's horrid. Whereas now, Tom, this sounds really cocky, arrogant, and everything fucking negative. But when we do have a £1,500 a month client turn to us and be a fucking prick, we turn around to them and be like, bye. You either listen to us and like follow the rules, or you're gone, unfortunately.
Yeah, and Harry's right in what he's saying. When you have more people lined up that you're still working with, and when you lose a couple, it's not it's not as big a kick in the nuts, When you don't have that protection, you are so exposed. But here's the thing, guys, like highs and lows. Our highs and lows change, and I still get as devastated when we lose a client for whatever reason we have, because people do. You lose clients. You can't, because this is because you can't get results for everybody, by the way. I'd hate for people to think, listening to set, well, you're losing clients, or you don't get results. Well, you actually can't get results for everybody. There's so many variable factors, and sometimes you can give your best efforts. You can put the best striker in the League One team, but you may not get promoted. It's as simple as that. Yeah. So you do lose a few clients, and it still does hurt, when we have people, because I know that if we can't do it for them, they're going to think, oh, maybe I'll go to another person and see if I can get results. And I say this all the time on calls, don't I? Like, I sleep really well at night, knowing that this person's ad spend is with me to grow their brand.
Yeah.
Like, I sleep so well at that, because if it's not with me, it's going to be with someone else, and that's going to be a fucking nightmare for them.
I agree. Well, I think let's I know this is a bit longer than usual, but some positives, mate. I always like to remind ourselves that when it rains, it pours. And that's with negative and positive, which is why when you're on a negative run streak, it's fucking horrible. Where you're like being pounded, negative thing, bad review, unhappy customer, la 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 la. But when it rains, it pours in a good way. You can fucking fly. Like, we're, touch wood, stay on the good streak we're on. We've signed 4 clients in the past. The 5 clients after today. In
Past
the
5
past,
days, 6 days.
yeah, from
Friday.
Friday, 6, yeah, 6. So we signed 5 clients in 6 days, which is
high ticket ones too.
yeah, which is so we've added over £10,000 a month in monthly reoccurring revenue in the last 6 days.
Yeah,
That's
but
not, we're not being those wankery TikTok people that does this. Like, we don't do that every fucking 6 days. There's but it's just been one of those where all of our pipelines just come to, not all of it, but like a strong percentage of it has all come off in like 6 days, which is fucking really nice.
again, it will pass.
It
So
will.
the feeling Harry have got right now, where we're like, fucking hell, we've had a good week, and we're looking at the figures, and now we can invest more in some staff, and we're looking at it and going, fucking hell. But that will pass. This feeling will disappear. We don't actually celebrate it anyway, because we just see it as more security for us long term to achieve our long term plan.
And our mentality is, in a month's time, we'll probably lose 3 clients in a week rather than 1 every month. And that's not to say we're going straight back to 1. It's kind of like 5 steps forwards, 3 steps back. But over time, you're always growing.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't mind saying this stuff. Like, it does, it's unfiltered, and we're speaking
we're talking real.
We're talking real. It's so stupid for people to think you're going to sign 3 clients a month, every month, without losing a single fucking one of them.
Yeah.
But we include it in our sales figures. We include it in our targets for the end of the year. We'll say, right, we want to be at XYZ amount of revenue, which, to get there, we need to sign 3 clients net. And what I mean by that means we need to sign 5 clients, knowing that we're going to lose 2 every single month, which means we're going to net 3 clients a month. That's the way we look at things. Like, stupid to just say we're going to get to this, we need to sign 2 clients a month. Well, you're not incorporating the ones you're going to lose. And how we calculate the ones we're going to lose is based off of our average retention rates. So we know, based on 4-month contracts, 6-month contracts, 9-month contracts, and 12-month contracts, how long on average they're going to last. So we have a spreadsheet that shows us, for every 10 clients we sign, in order to keep them over to keep those 10 clients for 4 years, we need to sign like 1.2 clients a month. So we have these formulas in our agency, so we know automatically what we need to do, because then we reverse. I won't go to that. So that's how we basically calculate it. So when we sign 3 clients in a month, we don't, in 6 days, when we sign 5 clients in 6 days, we don't overly celebrate. We don't pop bottles of champagne, because we know it's just all part of the plan to get to where we need to go.
And it's also keeping your feet on the ground. Like me and Harry, this is SMMA Unfiltered, but we're not going to shout and scream about how fucking untouchable we are. We're just regular boys. Yeah. We're just regular men who are just trying to make, we've joined agencies and we've got a fantastic brand, and we're just trying to do as much as we can so we don't have to work forever and give an amazing service on the way through. Like, we're just normal lads, but we're trustworthy and we're incredibly good at what we do. But we want to tell people how difficult it's going to be. We all have our own personal demons that we're battling with. Yeah. But just remember, when you're first starting, you're not trying to do it for the next pair of shiny boots you can wear on the field. You've got to see everything as got to treat it that everything can fall down. Don't get carried away. Don't score a goal and celebrate for fucking 2 days.
Yeah.
You've got to see the next thing going to come from. But there are highs and lows, mate. We talk about it all the time. And
what's let's end the video, mate, with your best, your proudest moment of running an agency.
My proudest moment of running the business was when we got, I think in like the space of a month, we had a testimonial blast. So what that means is we were getting such good results, but we wanted to get clients to vouch for us on video so we can take those case studies and those testimonials to other people. By doing that, it's fucking so powerful because no other marketing agency does it. Not even the big ones. They don't even bother. And I think in like a month, we had something like 5 testimonials. And in the process of that, we were getting really good results. And we were having people on email saying, I'm so thankful I met you. And you guys have changed the way I look at marketing. If it wasn't for you, my business would be struggling. When we got testimonials through and then we get such positive feedback in like the space of 4 weeks, that's my proudest moment where I'm like, I'm achieving things that other people would cut the right arm off for.
Yeah. Yeah. I think mine, mate, is when we signed, we have like we have 3 clients that are on long-term contracts that would be able to, we would be able to not only you and I live off for the next 2 years because they're long contracts, but also pay all of our expenses within the business based off of those 3 contracts alone.
Yeah.
I think once we got those locked in, because some of them are performance based, but even on the standard retainers alone, I think once we locked that in, that I think that was like my happiest like moment, because I kind of looked at it and thought, no matter what happens here, we're in a really good position. I think business is like playing a game of chess, and I think when we did that, it was kind of like checkmating. If you were playing failure, we like checkmated failure within our business because we had these
We did.
mental like contracts in place that no matter what happens, we're good. And it just and that allows freedom. That allows us to be like, we're in so much control here.
And also, and I know people, we always talk about money in this, and money is super important to me and Harry. But I think one of the best highs is when you pay yourself that first 10K month.
Yeah.
You know, like this happened a while, many, many years ago with us now. But when you get that first dividend from your business, that is £10,000 cash take home.
Yeah.
Not tax. This is not gross. This is net. When you net yourself 10,000 and you see it in your bank account, you go, wow, like I'm doing it. I'm not, it may just last for 1 month, you know, everything stays for a minute and then it's gone. But
No.
I do remember that moment and thinking like, fucking hell, that's a lot of money to people.
It's weird, mate. I didn't have that moment. I had that moment when we paid ourselves that net, but I didn't have it when we hit it in revenue. Even 10K each. Like when we hit 20K in revenue a month. I didn't
Yeah.
I didn't have that moment where I was like, I've done it. Because it wasn't like, because then you have
Like I've done it.
because then you have tax and expenses and thingy. So you don't actually, it doesn't feel like you're making 10K a month. But like when you're paying yourselves like a 10K, when you take home 10K, it's around a 13K dividend. If people so when you earn your revenue, then you pay your corp tax, and then based off of what's left, you pay your dividend, and you obviously got to pay dividend tax on that. This is UK guys, but to take home 10K, you have the dividend you pay is around £13,000.
Yeah.
And that when we did that for the first time, that was when I was like, fuck, this is like this is different gravy now.
Moment. It's a moment that you should celebrate because achieving 10,000 in a business in a year that's self-made, let's not be silly about it, and it depends on your overheads, that's still a really good achievement. You made £10,000 in 12 months. You know, that's fantastic. But there's something about when you do it in a 4-week period.
Yeah.
It's a really good feeling. It's a really good high, and it gives you the taste. It's like walking past first class on a plane and you look at people and you go, that's the best motivation. I'm on a plane every week because I live between here and New York, right? I look at people and business, and sometimes I get the chance, but we're not crazy, are we, mate? You know, again, this is unfiltered. Don't fly business class all the fucking time. Do you know how much it is? Fucking insane. And I don't even post on Instagram that I fly first class and stuff. Like I fly with the ticket price I want to fly on.
It's fucking ridiculous, man. I watched a podcast with, I can't remember who it was. It was a he had millions of followers, a million subscribers on YouTube. It was like a reality. I think someone like Logan Paul or someone, not Logan Paul, he's too big. One of them types of people, might have been one of the sidemen actually. I can't remember who, but he was basically saying, I look at like a first class ticket sometimes or a private jet or whatever, and because I grew up poor, I looked at it and thought, there's no fucking way I'm paying that. Like
Yeah.
no way. Even with millions of dollars in the bank, I would not pay it.
It's
Like,
even with business, mate. Like I've gone business, but I look at it. Business is one thing, but first class and business, you look how much cost that is on a flight, and you do have to recognize how much time, like put your hours into it. So I always think that and someone taught me this recently. When you buy something for $200, right? Could be a PlayStation 5. They're not 200. Let's say $500. How many hours do you normally charge to get that product?
yeah.
So,
How much is an average? Like, what's a first class flight from London to JFK?
mate,
Like
I think
okay, isn't it?
no, business is 4K.
What first class is? What like 6, 7?
It's about, yeah, 6, 7, 8, maybe 10K a month, 10K of ticket.
Yeah, it's mental, isn't it?
It's a lot.
Especially when you book them like you do. So like Tom, guys, if you're listening, flies to from London to New York like twice a month. Like you do the round trip twice a month, don't you?
I go there 1 week, back the next week, there 1 week, back next week. So every calendar week,
You're
I'm
doing
on a plane either going to JFK or going to Heathrow Airport.
yeah. So like Tom doesn't book his flights months in advance. He'll
I
do it
do.
on the way
I
to
have
the
done
fucking
recently.
airport.
I did do recently.
Yeah, you did, but like up until recently, you did just like book them on the way to the airport, pretty much.
Mate, one time I did it at the airport
Yeah, that's fucking stupid.
because I didn't have a return flight and they wouldn't let me. For a quick story, I didn't have a return flight, and they said, "Well, you need a return flight as part of your like visa," and I was like, "Oh yeah, it is." And they were like, "Yeah, but you have to book one." Went on. It's like I just got one for 400 quid or 500 quid, maybe. Just went on and bought one. I had to buy one, but yeah, you can leave it as late as that. But no, we keep it. I think there's moments when you earn the money and you think it's coming to fruition, but you can't get carried away from it. But they're the highs. We're all in this. Let's not fucking make any measure of it. Like we're all in this to make money, and when you can physically pay yourself a decent salary, it's a good moment. I
Yeah,
even remember the first dividend. And that was a high. That was a high for me. But your highs change and your lows get harder.
yeah, absolutely, mate. Well, I think
This
that's
is
the video.
a long podcast today.
It
Please
is.
subscribe. And whoever's left fucking listening to this shit,
Yeah, comment if you're still listening.
if
I
you've
mean,
listened to the whole of this video, I want you to put right there the word. What word should we get them to write?
um, I don't know.
First class. First class is overrated. Write that.
Yeah, first class is overrated.
Put that in the comments if you've listened to it all the way through. I'll be amazed.
Yeah, love that. Cool. Okay, guys. Well, hope you enjoyed. Please subscribe if you like this, guys. We're trying to make them a bit more conversational, but still packed with value, essentially. And of course, just keeping it as unfiltered as physically possible. So, hope you enjoyed, guys. Please subscribe.
Gonna get
See you.
more and more unfiltered as we go.
Yeah, we're just gonna just make turn it really, really dark. But yeah, hope you enjoyed, guys, and we'll see you soon.